Hello book lovers, my name is Carrie and this is Spines and Spoilers. As you can see, I have a slightly different setup this time. I actually have my bookcases fully stocked and the top's mostly done, I guess. I still haven't found my editing equipment, and if I don't find it in like another month, I think I'm just gonna have to bite the bullet and get more equipment, maybe. I don't know. That being said, you're basically being held up by a stack of papers, like printer paper, a book, and one of those cell phone things that help them sit up at night so that you can watch a show or whatever, I don't know. But with their powers combined, you can get a semi-cognizant video. So I try to start out every video talking about what I'm reading and what I'm drinking. Right now, I am drinking coffee from this lovely mug that my husband found. I think it was just walking through Walmart and, you know, I was sad that Halloween is over, so this seems the perfect sentiment. But I'm just drinking, I think it's just basic Starbucks coffee, like regular Starbucks coffee. I poured it into a container, and I just haven't seen the bag in a couple of months now, so I assume that's what it is. That's what it tastes like. It's good. As far as what I am reading, I do not have a physical copy, actually. I am reading Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. I'm reading it on my Kindle. I've also kind of been snacking on apple slices between takes, so this is my November TBR. And yes, I know we are into November now, but I'm also including stuff that I read in like the first week, because it's not even past the first week, but the first few days. But the first book that is on my TBR for this month, which I have already read, is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is very shiny, and I can't get a good view on it. But yeah, this is the prequel to the Hunger Games trilogy, and I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about it. I was very worried that Suzanne Collins might be going like on the J.K. Rowling route, but she doesn't seem super problematic to me. I haven't heard anything about her. Anyway, it is from the perspective of President Snow as a teenager, basically. And I don't want to give too much away because, like, every little bit is interesting. It tells about his past. It reveals the origins of a lot of things. So basically, in this book, the Hunger Games has been going on 10 years. It's not doing so great because they're basically taking 24 kids, you know, 2 from each district that's left, and putting them in an arena to fight. There's none of the pizzazz that they had in the actual Hunger Games trilogies. There's no frills, nothing. They just send them in, have them fight, and film it. No strategy, not much of anything. They aren't trying to sell themselves for bets or anything like that. They're not trying to get sponsors, really, all that much. And yeah, it is hurting their views. Basically, no one wants to watch, and they consider that a dilemma because, you know, they're fucked up. But yeah, so part of the emphasis of this book is them trying to figure out how to make the Hunger Games more palatable and more watchable. And of course, Snow has a big hand in that. And we also find out a lot more about his past and why he is the way he is. And I honestly love it. I love finding out why he is the way he is, and it honestly makes sense. And kind of how he started on this slope of like deception and betrayal and espionage. And it's just like, I didn't give it a 5 because I don't think it's one of my like new favorite books necessarily, but I really like it. I liked it enough from the beginning to make a vlog about it. So yeah, that will probably be posted next week after this video comes out. Hopefully. I want to have this video edited before that one. This next book is one that I literally just finished reading. That is Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. Now, I never thought I was going to read this book. I had heard so many like mixed reviews about it. Some people absolutely loved it, some people hated it, some people were just really underwhelmed because I guess they got on the hype train. Maybe they were just disappointed. I don't know. I gotta learn how to breathe. I don't know why I'm talking so fast today. I guess it's the coffee. Okay, so I'm trying to think of a good way to kind of summarize this book a little bit. But they find the main character, Alex. Her real name is Galaxy, but she goes by Alex. And she is found with a bunch of other dead people. It's like her boyfriend, her best friend, and some other people. They've all been on drugs. And everyone else has basically been beaten to death other than her best friend and her. Her best friend died of a drug overdose, and she was the sole survivor. Now, they quickly determined that the attacker couldn't be her because she is teeny tiny and there's no way that she could have wielded the bat that they're pretty sure did the blows. They knew it was a big blunt object and they're pretty sure it's a bat. They know that she could not have wielded that much force. Alex has something special about her though. She can basically see ghosts. In this universe they're called Greys. And, you know, they're just the souls of people who haven't left the earth yet. They basically still think they're alive and are wandering about doing their normal routine, and they don't want to think that they're dead. So any reminder of death kind of drives them away, but she doesn't find this out until later in life, because this is an issue that has plagued her entire life from when she was very, very young. She's always been able to see them, and didn't start to fear them until she was like a teenager or something like that, until she learned to be afraid of them. But because of the fact that she can see Greys, there has been a society that's been keeping an eye on her, and they function from Yale, and they work in the occult, kind of siphoning magic from people, and one of their goals is to be able to see Greys. Like, they've concocted a potion so that you can be able to see what she sees temporarily. Like, they can only see them for an hour or something like that, so they're in complete awe of her, because apparently they've never even encountered someone who can actually see Greys. So they save her, basically, from the murder investigation, adopt her, and give her a full ride to Yale, which is a big thing because she never graduated high school. She's been living homeless for a long time. She did a lot of drugs and was just trying to get clean and figure out her life. But they scooped her up, put her in Yale, and were like, we'll take care of everything. We just need you to help out with some ceremonies. So that is how we get to the beginning of the book, where she is helping them out with the ceremony. I realized that I forgot to mention the triggers for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. There was a lot of violence, espionage, poisoning. I think there was the mention of rape and sex trafficking. A lot of stuff like that. Starvation, poverty. I'll add more if I think of more. But the triggers for this book include rape, attempted rape, molestation, mind control, date rape, drugs, lots of violence, murder, possession, drugs, drug paraphernalia, cops, abuse. That's another big one. Abuse and neglect. Those are two other big triggers to keep in mind while reading this book. Just don't go in blind, you know. Maybe look up some more triggers on the internet if you need to, in more of a synopsis than I can give you, because it can be a bit dark at times. The next book is the one that I am reading right now, and that is Cemetery Boys by Aiden Thomas. This is such a delightfully wholesome book so far. I don't know much about what it's actually about. I'm trying to go in blind, but so far, from what I have ascertained, it's kind of like on the flip side of this last book, but there are ghosts, but they seem to largely be like benevolent, or just like they're not really an issue. Like, you can talk to them in this book, and some of them are devious and maybe malevolent, but most of them are just going about their business, you know, acting like they're still alive. And I wasn't even aware before I started this book that the main character was trans, but I suppose they are. They're talking about their binder and things like that. I'm gonna have to read more to see if that is the case, or if they're non-binary, something along those lines. Because I know Aiden Thomas themselves is non-binary, so they could be writing from a point of experience. Either way, I'm honestly really excited to read this book. It made the rounds last year, I think it was, and it was really hyped up, and I tried to kind of wait until the hype, you know, turned down a little bit. I bought it on Kindle 6 months ago, I think, and thought, I'm gonna wait for Halloween. I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna do my my Halloween readathon, which just didn't end up happening this year. And I think I'm maybe gonna do that later in November instead, and just call that my Halloween readathon. No one has to know. It's fine. It can be our little secret. I think this cup may have a crack. I think it's leaking. Please, don't do this to me. The next two books are books that I have tried to read in the past, and I'm going to try again. I think I might actually make them last on the list, though, because of the fact that I kind of ended up getting in a reading slump after trying to read them. The first one is The Raven Boys by Maggie Stiefvater, I believe is how you pronounce it. Probably butchering it, I don't know. And no, that is not a bookmark, you see. It is a used Amazon gift card, because I'm a classy bitch. Anyway, yeah, so far, from what I have gleaned, it is basically about a girl named Blue. I believe that's her name. It's been a little bit since I've read any of this, because I kind of put it down. I'm just going to go ahead and take this bookmark out, so I have to restart it. Bookmark. But she has the ability to transfer energy, basically. I believe that's what it is. And she is assisting her mother with a ritual, basically taking count of the people who are going to die that year. Now, everyone in her family has different powers. Hers is just very mild compared to everyone else, and she kind of hates it because it's just transferring energy. And compared to being able to tell the future and stuff like that, I guess it's kind of anticlimactic for her. But anyway, this day, while she's doing this ritual with her mom, she sees a boy. And generally, they are not able to interact with these souls, and the souls just kind of go on their way on a straight path. This guy has deviated from the path, and then when she goes to talk to him, he talks back and tells her his name, which is highly irregular. Now, there is a prophecy that the first boy that she kisses is going to die, I believe. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's either the first person that she falls in love with, or the first person that she kisses. Pretty sure it's kisses. And turns out the only way that she could see and talk to a ghost is if it is someone that she had like a strong connection to in the future, like someone that she was going to fall in love with in the future. And she only has his name and knows the fact that he goes to an academy nearby. Oh yeah, that's right. I looked back to make sure that what I was saying was correct, and it was saying that the reason that she would be able to see him is either that he is her true love, or that she killed him. And in this case, it could honestly be both. He could be her true love, and then she could end up killing him by kissing him. So, I guess we're gonna see. I honestly find the concept of this book very interesting, and I don't know why it pushed me into a reading slump before, but I'm still going to push it to the end of the month, because this next book is another one that I started to read, and it ended up in me getting into a reading slump. So we're going to try it again and read it at the end of this list with the Raven Boys, so that if it does result in me ending up in a reading slump again, I'll already be done with the rest of the other stuff. Hopefully. I don't know. But that is The Diviners by Libba Bray. I'm honestly I really like the concept of this book, and I know it's really hyped up, and I really want to like it when I read it. I really want to, so hopefully that is the case. I've heard nothing but good things about November. I genuinely can't remember what this is about. I remember it takes place in the 1920s, and that there is like supernatural stuff. So I'm going to read the synopsis on the back. Evie O'Neill has been exiled from her boring old hometown and shipped off to the bustling streets of New York City, and she is positively ecstatic. It's 1926, and New York is filled with speakeasies, Ziegfeld girls, and rakish pickpockets. The only catch is that she has to live with her Uncle Will and his unhealthy obsession with the occult. There comes in the supernatural part. Evie worries he'll discover her darkest secret, a supernatural power that he has only brought her trouble so far. But when the police call Will to the crime scene of a murdered girl branded with a cryptic symbol, Evie realizes her gift could help catch a serial killer. As Evie jumps headlong into a dance with a murderer, other stories unfold in the city that never sleeps, and unknown to all, something dark and evil has awakened. So yeah, I definitely see why I was interested in this in the first place. It's got the supernatural, it's got police investigations and, you know, mysteries and stuff like that. It's got the 1920s. Definitely see why I was interested. Don't quite know why it put me in a reading slump. Maybe I just wasn't in the mindset at the time. My depression was not under control at the time, so maybe it was just my depression and me not wanting anything to do with life in general. So that could be it. Hopefully that's all it was, and I can get through it this time. Okay, this next one is one that I'm excited about. I haven't necessarily heard a lot about it around like Bookstagram and Book Talk and all that stuff, but it's called The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. I only know the little blurb that I've read, and otherwise I kind of want to keep it a mystery and go from there. But what I've read is a young woman discovers a strange portal in her uncle's house, leading to madness and terror in this gripping new novel. And that's enough for me. You got horror, you've got a portal, I'm into it. Let's go. I haven't read anything by T. Kingfisher before, but I've heard that their stuff is good. Another one that I want to read is A Wizard's Guide to Defensive Baking. That's supposedly really good. But the next book on my list is one that I'm most excited about, and it's actually the last one, I believe, unless I decide to add more on. Like, if I finish the books that I have on my list so far. There's that needing to breathe thing. But it is The Final Girl Support Group by Grady Hendrix. Pretty sure it's by Grady Hendrix. And I have loved everything by Grady Hendrix that I've read so far. Let's see. I know the biggest one that I've read was My Best Friend's Exorcism, and I know there were like 2 others that I read. I just can't remember the titles at the moment. But yeah, this one is about a support group for girls who have survived, you know, like mass murders, and they're the final girls. And then I believe the idea is that someone pops up and starts killing off the final girls. I think that's it, and they have to solve mystery of who it is, and they have to survive that. I'm not positive if that's actually what it is. I'm trying to learn as little about it as possible. Alright, that is the end of my November TBR. I'm excited to get started. I honestly need to just get my homework out of the way as quickly as I can so I can actually have some leisurely time. I forgot to mention, but life update, I am going to be a substitute teacher. I just completed the training. Now I'm just waiting on my TB test to go through, which I don't have tuberculosis, so I should be good. So yeah, that's all I'm waiting on, and I'm really excited to get started. That does mean, however, that I'll have to be more careful with my free time, and I'll have to find more of a balance between my reading and my school. But thankfully, school is almost over, and I think I'll only have 1 semester left. But that's my TBR for November. Thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. I don't know why you're here, but it's great that you are. Thank you for that. But I hope you're all doing really well out there. You know, that you're staying safe. Still gotta wear masks, guys. But thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and most importantly, love yourself. Bye.